Thanks for attending today's Utility Damage Prevention meeting. Even though many of you are veterans out in the field and already know the basics of damage prevention, we still would like to take this opportunity to review the most important safety points and show you that safe digging is priceless. State law in Wisconsin requires a locate request to be filed with Diggers Hotline at least 3 business days prior to the start of any excavation. The person or company actually doing the digging must have a locate request on file to be legally covered in case a facility is damaged. There are a number of different ways to contact Diggers Hotline. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, you can talk to someone directly by dialing 800-242-8511 or simply 811. To file a locate request online, you can use the Email a Locate program at diggershotline.com or Remote Entry. Remote Entry does require a free half-day training class, which you can sign up for on the Diggers Hotline website. After you complete the training, you can act as your own operator and submit your tickets directly into the Diggers Hotline system. After the locate request is received, Diggers Hotline then notifies each utility that has buried facilities in or near your dig site. The facility owners will either mark the facilities themselves or will use a contract locating service. When you get to the job site, you should see marks or clear flags for all of the utilities on the list provided to you when you filed your locate request. If something doesn't look right at the job site, such as missing marks, stop and call the utility. A little time spent getting answers ahead of time is much better than shutting down a job site after something goes wrong. In addition to contacting Diggers Hotline before beginning excavation, you also need to be aware of the possibility of private lines being around your job site. Private lines are owned by individuals and contained fully on their property. Propane lines, merchant wind farms, sprinkler systems, ornamental lighting, and electric lines to a barn or garage are all examples of private lines. If damaged, private lines can be just as dangerous as other lines. Owners of lines that do not cross the public right-of-way are not required to be members of Diggers Hotline. Therefore, these lines may not be located after filing a locate request. It is your responsibility to look for signs of private lines before any excavation begins. If you believe there are private lines around your worksite, be sure to contact the property owner or, if that fails, contact a locating company to have them marked for a fee. You can find a list of private locating companies in Wisconsin on diggershotline.com. Just follow the link under Resources to the Locators page. We also encourage excavators to get in the habit of whitelining the job site before filing a locate request. You can use white paint, flags, or stakes to indicate the specific area where excavation will take place. This allows the locators to know exactly where the work is being done, and it helps to ensure that the facilities will be properly located within that specific area. In the winter, when there's snow on the ground, pink marks can be used instead of white. Once excavation work begins, you must take precautions to protect the underground facilities. Remember that powered equipment should not be used within the tolerance zone of the marked facilities. The tolerance zone, also referred to as the buffer zone, is 18 inches on either side of the outside edge of the mark. If the width of the facility is indicated, you must add half of it to each side of the tolerance zone. Once a facility is exposed by hand digging, the tolerance zone when using powered equipment is reduced to 12 inches, or twice the known cutting edge of the equipment. It is a fact that not all facilities are buried at standard depths. Depths can change over time due to erosion, weather, or worksite activity. So if you're digging within the tolerance zone, you must hand dig the entire depth of the facility. Digging while assuming facilities are buried at a certain depth can be very dangerous. Even though water and sewer lines are normally buried deeper than other facilities to avoid freezing in winter, they can still be dangerous when damaged. Water from a leaking pipe can destabilize soil and cause a trench wall collapse. Also, avoid any contact with wastewater because it may contain bacteria that pose a significant health risk. An issue involving sewer lines that is a growing concern is crossbores and sewer laterals. More and more utilities are installing underground lines using trenchless technology. These facility owners are required to file a locate request with Diggers Hotline before boring begins, and are also required to hand dig around any marked facilities. However, sewer laterals that are considered private facilities are often not marked. This can lead to the excavator boring through the sewer line and leaving the utility line inside the sewer line without knowing it. The presence of a crossbore can go undetected for months or even years. Eventually, a sewer backup develops and a plumber is called to remove the blockage. It is a common practice for plumbers to use a mechanical rotary device to remove the blockage. This process almost always damages the utility line that was bored through the sewer line. If an electric line is cut, the plumber runs the risk of electrocution. If a gas line is damaged, the gas can migrate through the sewer lines into nearby buildings, resulting in a major accident. Those of you who work in the plumbing field and you suspect a sewer blockage is due to a crossbore, do not attempt to clear the blockage with a mechanical device. Contact the utility owner for assistance. A brochure with more details on crossbores is available to you today. Make sure to take one with you when you leave. Damaging a telecommunication line may not seem as serious as damaging an electric or a natural gas facility. However, it can be more expensive, especially if it is a fiber optic line that is damaged. Locators will often indicate in their markings single fiber or duct package, which means there are multiple fibers contained within the line, such as a 6 count or a 96 count. The facility owners may want to be on site when excavation is taking place around the fiber optic lines to ensure the integrity of the facility. If a fiber optic line is cut, do not look into the end of it. Serious eye damage may occur. Internet service, 911 emergency services, FAA, and other vital services are provided with these telecommunication lines. Knocking any of these offline because of careless digging may bring unwanted attention and major repair expenses to you and your company. Remember that the 18-inch tolerance zone rule is the same for every facility. Electricity is delivered in both distribution and transmission facilities. Electric distribution lines can range from 120 volts to 50,000 volts, while electric transmission lines start at 69,000 volts and in Wisconsin can go up to 345,000 volts. When working with backhoes and excavators around overhead electric lines, OSHA requires that you stay at least 10 feet away from distribution lines and up to 16 feet away from transmission lines. According to the 2010 OSHA crane standard, cranes or similar equipment need to maintain a 20-foot clearance unless special provisions are taken. Many people are surprised to learn that the sag in overhead electrical lines, especially transmission, can vary greatly. Therefore, the height of the line can change on any given day. Also, avoid piling soil under power lines as grade changes can cause code violations, and grade cuts can destabilize a structure's foundation. Beware, overhead lines are not insulated, even if they appear to have a coating on them. This coating is for weatherproofing, not insulation. At high voltages, electricity can flash or jump over the air gap to your equipment. If your equipment comes into contact with an electric line, warn others to stay away and have someone call the utility and 911 for assistance. Stay on your equipment until utility personnel say it is safe. When you're on your equipment, electricity may be traveling around you. As long as you don't become a path to the ground, the electricity will not flow through you. If the equipment catches on fire or there is other imminent danger, you need to jump clear of the equipment without allowing your body to touch the ground or any part of the equipment at the same time. Land with both feet on the ground at the same time. Keep your feet together and shuffle away. Stay away from anyone or anything that is in contact with the power line. Electric lines can be somewhat unpredictable. Absence of arcing or sparking does not mean it's safe. Even if you think the lines are safe, they can become re-energized without warning. When working around natural gas facilities, remember how hazardous these lines can be if damaged. It can't be stressed enough how important it is to report any type of damage to the facility owner. Even minor nicks or dents can cause the facility to weaken over time and can eventually result in a leak, service outage, or explosion. Smelling natural gas, hearing a hissing or roaring sound, seeing dirt spray into the air, or bubbling in water are all signs that a line has been struck and natural gas is leaking. If this happens, you and the rest of the crew should turn off all equipment, if it can be done so safely, and quickly evacuate the area, moving upwind. Your first phone call should be to 911 and then to the gas utility. Natural gas is lighter than air, so it is best to allow it to vent into the atmosphere and let emergency personnel and utility representatives handle the situation. Never attempt to bury a leak. Natural gas may migrate underground following the route of least resistance, which could include collecting in basements where remote ignition sources might be present. Do not try to stop a leak yourself. It might appear simple to kink a plastic pipe or squeeze it shut, but the natural gas escaping from the pipe can create a static electric charge. Simply touching the pipe can discharge the static electricity and ignite the gas with potentially explosive force. If the natural gas does ignite, local firefighters can work to protect adjacent property, but the safest way to put out a gas fire is to wait for utility crews to shut it down at the source. High-pressure pipelines present extreme hazards if struck, so you must be aware of any pipelines you're working near. Pipelines can carry natural gas, crude oil, propane, gasoline, jet fuel, heating fuel, or electric transmission lines. The pipeline owners will need to be present during your excavation. If you see a pipeline marker post and you have not already been contacted by the owner, stop work immediately and call the number on the sign. If you have any questions, stop at our booths after the program. Thank you for attending this year's damage prevention meeting. We wish you a productive and safe 2012. And remember, safe digging is priceless.